Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, and this is video 2 in our series. Now, I've actually picked out the paper, so we have a name for this, and it's called Industrial Grunge. We're using the Industrial Grunge kit from Pink Monarch, and I really like it. And we're going to show that when you make a smaller folio like this, that it does not have to be flowers. Or flutterbys, even though we like flutterbys. But you may have noticed I've gone and grunged up my little proto here. I decided to go with the proto because it came out more even than the one, and you can see that I noticed it when I inked it, that this came up like that. That was where I had trimmed it. And so apparently I didn't need to trim it. I was just not taking into account the gusset. So we're going with the proto, and so it is now the real O. Okay, bad joke number 1. And these are the papers that we're going to use. I've already decided this is going to be the cover. I've got a couple other ones labeled. And then these are the writing paper type papers for the kit, and there's 2 more in that I have set aside in here. And then these are the rest of the papers, and the papers are really cool. Oops. Anyway, you can see that they're all kind of grungy. And we're going to grunge them up with black ink. Okay. And then we also have a ton, and I mean a ton, of ephemera to pick from. We have pockets and cards and smaller items. Remember, we've got a smaller project going here, and just all kinds of really cool things. Now, some of these that are really cool may be too big, and I may print some at a smaller size if I find something I really want to use. And I love this kit, and I love the kits by Pink Monarch and some other ones. But I would like to mention that even though I love them, I wish they would not put their names on the pages of the ephemera, because I use a Brother Scan and Cut, and it wants to pick up this text and try to cut it out. So that's the only reason I mention it. There are probably a lot of people that have problems with their hands like I do, and really use some sort of a machine to cut their items out. And even if you're using a Cricut, I would think the same thing would apply, because you would scan the page in. You'll see right here I've had to black them out, because I was gonna scan this, and my Scan and Cut has lost its mind and it won't work right now. Okay, then I also have some spare manila folders, and we're going to use those for some scraps and a couple of flips or whatever. So they're ones that I used for something else, and then I didn't need them anymore, and they weren't quality of starting a project with. All right, so today some of the items that we're going to need for the whole project, not necessarily today. We're going to need some bulb pins. Pins, in case I said pens. I always pronounce it wrong. Some black Velcro dots. These are actual Velcro, so I can call them that. A brush, and your inker and your ink pad, which of course is going to be black soot. I totally forgot. We're also going to need some black elastic, and we're going to need some custom dyed paper, which I haven't dyed yet, so I can't show it to you. These nifty snippers came with this roll, and they're very much sharper. They're much sharper. And the workings on here are a lot better, so they're sharps, so I have to stay away from them. But I just thought I would show you that some of these come with really cool things. All right, so let's set this aside because we're not going to need it. And as you can see, well, we won't need the Velcro dot for just a little while. I've selected black, even though you can see it. Our whole theme is black, so I think it'll be fine. And not a clear one, because half of a clear one is the white side. And we definitely don't want white. We probably won't be using this, but we will definitely be using this. We're going to be using a crocodile. We've got a tag that we're going to fold in half and make into a tab. Then we've got an eyelet, and we have a charm, which is a little tiny key, which I wish was bigger, but it was the only kind of cool thing I had that would match this kit. Okay, so let's set this to the side as well. We got a lot of stuff set to the side. So when I inked the folder, I extra grungied it up. I didn't just ink the edge like you normally do. I kind of did this because when we run our little border that shows of our paper, I didn't want it to be the tan of the manila folder. I wanted it to be kind of grungy looking. So I also, you have to make sure to do all of the gussets extra. Okay, and that also goes for the insides and all the folds on the inside. Now this particular one we're not going to see, but you want to ink everything anyway just in case, that way you don't forget. And I have grunged up the this little flip, because this particular one we're going to see without any paper on it. Now papering it, that's going to be up to you. Then here's our pocket. I've decided to make mine a top pocket and not a side pocket. Actually, since we're going to put a charm on it, maybe we should make it a side pocket. Well, let me think about that for a minute. Then once again, we've got our little flap back here. We're not going to get to that today. And our back page. And in between here, in these little gussets, we're going to put two writing sections. So I'm not sure exactly what else we're going to do. I know we're going to do a flip here, and that's what we're going to address today. Each paper that we make, unfortunately, we're going to have to ink as we do it. We're going to number the base pages for reference. So the covers 1, then 2, then 3. Do not number the tabs at all. We don't want to write on them at all. Then we're going to have our pocket paper clip together. We can't open it all the way anyway because this folder's folded in half. So you're going to have this part right here, but you can see that I inked inside. Now, I also would like to mention that I would not completely unfold it to ink it in case you have trouble remembering how to fold it back up. So I just opened it and did each section and then flipped it back and then went on to the next section and did it that way. And so you'll notice I've done all the gussets and everything here, and I've done around the edges and everything on all the other pages. Okay, so if we have time, we'll paper the cover, because I do have the cover paper picked out. And let's see, I think they're backwards. Yes, they are. This is going to be our cover, so I thought it looked pretty cool. So if we get to that, we will do that. Maybe we will go ahead and just do it. Why not? This may be a bit longer video, so you will have to bear with me. I mean, you don't have to, but I wish you would. Okay, so we're need to cut it right there. Let's see if I can make a mark that's shiny enough that I can see it when I go to cut it. And then we're going to need to cut it. Now remember, we're going by this piece here, so we're going to need to cut it right about where that line is. And I want to make sure that little slip I made with the pencil, I want to make sure to erase that. Okay, so let's do the cut that's up and down first. And that's right there at the edge of the 7. This is going to give us a better offcut piece to work with than if we had done it the other way around. And then now we're going to cut this way. Which goes right here. And see, now we've got 2. This could even be a bookmark. Or if you wanted to cover the second tab. Or if you wanted to cover the first one, just because I'm not covering mine doesn't mean that you can't cover yours, of course. So we're going to have to ink this with black. Remember, you don't have to be super delicate. Make sure to kind of grunge up the corners. You can see I've grunged up so much that my little sponge is coming apart. I'm not doing anything to stop that flippy noise because I actually kind of like it. Okay. Little pieces of sponge going everywhere. You want to be careful if you set this on your glass surface. If you're working on a glass surface, it will leave a smudge of ink, and you can get ink on items that you don't want to get ink on. Now, I think maybe covering this would be better off laying it out flat. Probably should have thought about that when I was measuring it. Okay, that looks like it's going to be fine. Okay. Now this doesn't really have an up or a down. It's just whichever way you prefer it, because the numbers are going, you know, do you want the numbers to go this way or do you want the numbers to go this way? And I want the numbers to go this way because I'm going to open it that way, and so I feel like the numbers should face that way. Pull this corner up. Now you can see this area right here is not the color of a manila folder. Okay, so we got that. So now we're going to skip page 2 and we're going to go on to page 3. Now what we're going to do for page 3 is, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue our pocket together. And I've decided, I think, to make it a side pocket, because that way when we put the charm on, then the charm will hang off on the side. If we put it on the top, when we put the tab on, then the charm's not really going to hang. It's just going to lie. It's just going to lie there. So let's take and run some glue. We're going to have to glue it here. and across the top. Now, I knew one side that I inked was not going to be seen, but here you will see going into the pocket. When you reach in, you'll be able to see the dark. You'll be able to see the dark. Okay. So now we have our side pocket. Oops. If I didn't play around with it before the glue was dry, then we would have a side pocket. Alright, so we've got our pocket. And we're going to need to make a card for it and put a tab on it, but I want to do the construction on this page first to make sure we have enough time to do it. Okay? So what we're going to do, this is the paper we're going to make our card out of, and I printed it on both sides. One side has writing lines. This side is light enough and it has graph paper lines on it that you can write on. Okay, we're going to make a flip out. We're just going to flip out. And the way we're going to do this is we're not going to use this at all in our measurements. And we are going to use a whole paper going this way. And we're going to just cut the width that we want. And we're going to want the entire width and not leaving an edge, because this is our flip out, not our paper. So we want it to go right up to the edge. I'm going to live on the edge. And we're going to fold it, and that's why we can use the whole length. There it is. If your paper trimmer surface gets to like staticky, like static electricity, and the paper doesn't really move around on it, then use a dryer sheet and wipe it off. And it will help. Okay, so we've got this, and this is not double-sided. It could be, but I didn't really want to do it that way, just because. So what we need to do is we need to think about when we glue this, we want to be able to flip it, okay? And then when we flip it up, we're going to have a fold, so part of it is going to fold under. All right? So what we want to do is we're going to measure a 1/2 inch in and score it. And then we're going to score where we're going to mark where it's going to fold, and then we'll score it there. So let's go ahead and score our 1/2 inch so we can see where to move the paper forward, because that's going to be the fold under, so that makes the hinge for this to flip up. Okay? So we're going to get our scoreboard out. Our friend, the scoreboard. We're going to lay this out on here. It's going to be very close to 11, but we had to trim the edges off, so it's actually 10 5/8. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, 1/2 inch. So it's going to be 10 1/8. Let's mark it. Now you're going to want the printed side up, so you're going to flip this piece back. All right? So what I mean by that is we're going to fold it this way. And we're going to score it. Now we're going to mark where we want to fold it. And this is totally up to you. Wherever you want to flip it under. Do you want to flip it under so that this piece meets this all the way up? Because it's going to flip out and then flip out. Do you understand? So we've got this here. So now we've got the right length. And I think I'm going to make mine almost the length and then have the flip. So I'm going to mark it right here. And that's where I'm going to score it. Let me measure and make sure it's an even number. Let's try that. That way it'll be easier to score. Yeah, I'm going to take this mark off. And then we'll score it at 4 inches. 4 inches in from the end. Much easier. Just so happens that was where the ruler goes anyway. That's where the ruler lives. Okay, so we're going to score it right at 4 inches. Probably should have scored it on the back because of the direction we're going to... Oh no, that'll be all right. Don't forget we're going to have to ink this. So, oh, and I just tore the paper. Oh yeah, I poked a hole right through it. Makes me not happy because I really wanted to use this paper. Let me put you on hold and I'm going to print out another paper and I'll do the scoring and then we'll come back and we'll be ready to go. All right. Okay. So it just so happens that this ended up being 5 3/4 inches wide. I don't know if yours is going to come out exactly the same as mine is, but if it did, then this is going to be exactly 5 3/4 inches wide. So now I've got the new paper, so I know that I'm going to score it at 4 inches in. Be a little more careful this time. And then I'm going to come in a 1/2 inch from the end. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to score it a 1/2 inch from the end. Now, if you're going to just glue your paper to the flap, then you're not going to have to cut or mark this 1/2 inch. And I'll show you what I mean. If I were to just glue this paper, if I were to use this as the flap, and I was just going to glue the paper to it, then I obviously would not need to score it to make the flap out of the paper. However, then you can't make a pocket out of it because you're not really gluing it enough, I wouldn't think, for it to support the weight once you fold it in half and paper the inside and put anything else on it that you want to put on it. So that's why I scored it at a 1/2 inch, even though I am going to fold this up and make a pocket out of it. This is already going to be supported by being glued to the folder and then papered on the back side separately. So that way it will have all of its own stuff going on. Okay, then this is going to be like that. So this is going to fold under like that. Very nice. Make sure everything's lined up. So now all we have to do is take this piece right here and glue it up right to the even with here. Now I would say since it's going to be a pocket anyway, you might want to leave just a smidge, because you're going to have kind of a double hinge, and you're going to want to leave room. So I would move it in just a smidge to allow for it to fold and for this to fold with it. Okay, you don't want to impede the ability of this to fold with this once we glue it to it. Once we glue it to it. Okay. First thing we need to do though is what? We need to ink the heck out of it. I can't believe I almost forgot. Well, we could have inked most of it after, but this part in here, and I'm going to ink it on both sides because it's going to open and close just in that spot on the fold. I mean, we're going to have to ink both sides of this paper. Kind of grunge it up a little bit. You don't have to worry about being careful at all. In fact, if you get a little bit on the edge, so much the better. So, anyway, there hasn't been a whole lot going on here. I've been making videos for you guys, which I do almost every day, even if I'm ahead, because I film these ahead of time. That's why the dates, I don't hardly ever mention the dates. I don't hardly ever. That would be that I mention them all the time. That's a double negative. I hardly ever mention the dates because they're not going to match up even close probably as to when you see these. Usually my crazy dog Oz makes an appearance in the videos, either barking or coming in and scaring the heck out of me by putting his nose on my leg. Cold nose. Still cold leg, but his nose is still colder. The reason we're going to ink this is because we're going to paper them separately. So you're going to want to make sure to kind of get this, you know, because the paper's going to come up and there's going to be that little border edge. So you want to make sure that the little border edge that shows is grunged up. You know, it's going to be that way all the way around on the back side. So we're going to need to do it all the way around. I wasn't thinking, but I'm glad I did. Glad I realized. So we just want to grunge it up a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. But this way we'll have the, we don't need a manila folder and to make the flip, which we could have easily done. But because the 2 layers of paper is going to make it plenty thick enough to maintain the strength and whatever that we want. Okay, so now we're going to take this and glue it to here. Once again, rewind back to where we left off before the inking craze began. So I'm going to ink this, or glue this down. If I'm gluing and I say ink, then just know I mean glue, and vice versa. You should probably grunge that up a little bit. So we're going to slide this right up here, almost to the edge. And then we want to make sure it's even up and down with the paper. And we want to make sure that it's straight. Okay. You can't tell what I'm looking at here. Okay. So it's going to flip out. So really, there's a little teeny edge here. So I guess we're going to have a little teeny edge on the, oh, there's a little teeny edge on the top too. The bottom one's a little bit bigger. Sorry about that. So now we have the flip. Let's make sure we don't have any glue seepage, which I did. I almost glued it down. Get that off. With Fabri-Tac, it just kind of rolls up into a little rubbery ball, and you can just pull it right off. If that doesn't work, then just get a glue eraser and go across it, and it will ball the glue up, and then you can just wipe it off. These are just a couple bucks on Amazon. I don't know, I think $3.50, $4. And they last a really, really long time, and they're well worth the investment. Okay, so we've got that. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this as a side pocket. Let me think about this, if there's anything else we need to do before we do that. I don't think so. So we're going to glue the paper on the inside here. And that's all we need to do. Okay. So we should be able to do this and be okay. So since it flips, we only have to glue the two sides to make a pocket. Just put a tag or something in there. That seems to all be lined up. Looks like I got a little bit of glue on here. I don't want that to be shiny. I'm going to take that off. And it looks like it took a little bit of the ink off. Let me just cover that back up. I forgot we're going to see this, so we need to ink this up. Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, we're not really doing a whole lot. It's making videos. We're going to need 2 pieces of paper to cover this. Could have used one, but it has a chance of bubbling up in the middle where it folds. I really don't want to take that chance. So this is the inside flip paper because it's going to be writing paper, or paper that you can write on. This one, and that's our card. I might just do the whole thing all the way across. Let me take a look here real quick. These would look all right. These would look better. Let's do those two together. Definitely going to have to print out more of these writing pages. So now we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to measure for just this area right here. Remember, you're just measuring to right before that line, which is our fold. That's too far in. And then let's go ahead. Let's get that lined up. Yeah, I don't think it was straight when I measured it. So let's remeasure that. Maybe just a smidge farther in. Then our height is going to be just a smidge above the bottom. We'll do the top to bottom. First, always think about the offcut. If we'd gone all the way across here, then we wouldn't have had this whole width that we're going to have. Nope, there he goes. I knew he couldn't go a whole video without making an appearance. Oops. Then we need to make it this tall. Keep all of your offcuts. Maybe could use them, or as I like to do, I like to make a collage at the end. So with this paper being so interesting, I probably will be able to do one at the end. So we're going to glue this paper on. Really wish I could have gotten this darker. Oh, I wonder if this brush would make it darker. You know, on this right here. Yeah, that seems to do it. I made it a little darker on the edges too, so I better. There we go. He works his way down. He goes, ooh, 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 ooh. Now he may start up again, but I don't know what he's barking at. I don't think he knows what he's barking at. Now, since we're going to put another paper there, let's put this border over here. Okay. I think we might come back and do the cards and the tags maybe in a final ephemera video, and do all the building, the gluing and the flipping and whatever all together in one video. What do you guys think? My vote counts a lot more than yours. I didn't ink it, and you guys didn't stop me. Can't believe I almost did that. I would have yanked it off before the glue dried. Grunge up the corners. Right. So let's do around the edges again. I hit my fingers all in the edges. I almost did it, and you guys almost let me. So, it's not just my fault. It's your fault, too. I think I could have made that a smidge longer. Let's balance it out so it's even on both sides. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to change my mind. First of all, it's upside down. Kind of like this. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. You want to match the height up with the height of the other paper. And we want to measure, there's our crease. And left the lid off my glue. I kind of like not having the two light colored parts next to each other anyway. Oh, let me pause the video here. Okay, I have to split the video in half at 45 minutes, so we're almost done anyway. Okay, let's ink this up. I apologize for all the inking, but of course we can only ink as we go on this. Okay. All right, and this piece is going to go right here. This looks like it could be a little bit darker to me. Just, it looked a little too white. Okay. See if I can get that ink on, or that glue off of here. It's stuck to my hands. You may have to go over to art glitter glue, which I like this glue much better. Because it seems to take forever to get this through the mail. Okay. You're going to want to line that up top and bottom, and then make sure your edges are good. Top with the top and the bottom with the bottom. And then just glue it down. Okay. And then, since we've already hit 45 minutes, we've got this done. What did I do? Oh, when I glued this on as a pocket, I glued it on too tight. I was going to take the paper off too. Let's see if I can fix this without, you know what I mean? I should have glued it on with enough room to fold. How did that not work? Alright, we're going to put the glue back on here. We're going to glue it. And we're going to open it up. And like that. I think this might be too heavy. Can't imagine. Yeah, that seems to be fine. I have no idea what happened last time. You see there's a gap there now where I had glued it down tight before, and that didn't give it enough flex room to open. So we're going to, we've got this flip out here, and then this opens up to here. So we put that on, and we made our pocket. Made our pocket. We made sure everything was, we inked our folio. And so we got all that done. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and stop here at an hour, right about an hour, and then when we come back we'll paper these two papers, decide if we want any other kind of flip out, and we'll remember that we have to put the elastic here for our paper. So we only have a 3/8 gusset, so when we start putting stuff on here, we have to be careful. Okay? All right. Well, I will see you the next time in the next video in this series, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Bye-bye.